So the apples, tender and crispy at the same time. Cake is nice and buttery. You get a nice rum taste to it. Okay, in a separate bowl, we're gonna add 1 cup of flour, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and this is just pink Himalayan salt, but regular table salt will work fine. And we're gonna mix this and then set it to the side for now. We're gonna take a springform pan and we're gonna grease it either with butter, flour, baking spray, or you could line it with parchment paper. I'm gonna use baking spray. And once that's all good and greased, we're gonna set that aside too. You're gonna wanna use a nice baking apple. I'm using Honey Crisps. You're either gonna use Honey Crisp or Fuji or Granny Smith, something that's gonna hold its shape when it's baked. You don't want something that's gonna turn into applesauce once it gets in the oven. First thing you're gonna wanna do is peel your apples. Next thing we're gonna do is dice our apples. Easiest way I found, slice them down the middle. Once all our apples are in a bowl, we're gonna get a squeeze of lemon. Just give your apples a nice squeeze of that lemon juice. Mix them around. Then we're gonna set this to the side for now. Okay, in our stand mixer bowl, we're gonna add 1 stick of salted butter. And to that, we're gonna add 2/3 cup of granulated sugar. Okay, so we're gonna put this into our stand mixer. And we're gonna beat this on medium speed for about 3 minutes until light and fluffy. So once you got something that's light and fluffy, like this, we're ready to move on to the next step. We're gonna scrape down the side of the bowl. Then we're gonna take 2 eggs, and we're gonna add them one at a time, beating well after the addition of each egg. At this point, your batter should look a little grainy, and that's perfectly normal. What we're gonna do next, on low speed, we're gonna add some vanilla extract, 1 teaspoon, and 3 tablespoons of dark rum. Once the rum and the vanilla extract is mixed in, we're going to add our flour mixture until just barely combined. Low speed. Okay, once our flour is just barely mixed in, we're going to scrape down the sides of the bowl, scrape off our paddle attachment, and then move on to the next step. At this point, we're going to take our apples, scoop them right into our bowl. We're gently going to fold in these apples until they are just barely combined with the batter as one. We're going to take our prepared springform pan, mixture right in. Okay, once everything's in there, you can just press it down and level it off a bit. You don't have to go too crazy. Once that's done, we're gonna take about a tablespoon of white granulated sugar. You're gonna sprinkle it over the top of your cake. Once that's done, this is gonna go into a 350-degree oven for 40 minutes, or until a toothpick inserted in the middle comes out clean. So once our cake is out of the oven, our toothpick is coming out clear, We're gonna let this cool in our springform pan for about 1 hour before we remove it. Okay, so once our cake is cool, one last thing we're gonna do, we're gonna hit this with a little bit of powdered sugar. And then that's it. Our cake is ready to serve. But how did we do? So the apples, since we chose like a baking apple, well, we used Honeycrisp. The apples really, you know, they still hold their texture, they still hold their shape, but they're still tender and crispy at the same time. The cake is nice and buttery. You get a nice rum taste to it. The sugar on top, you know, kind of caramelizes a little bit. Overall, it's really good. I mean, you should have everything else in your pantry, so if you have the apples and the rum, definitely consider making this cake. As usual, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.